What's going on, guys? This is Mike with the 1% Mindset Podcast. I have the lovely Olanike with me of Selfish Babes. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excellent. So I want to dive right in, and you have done a lot of amazing things for amazing women, which is all around self-love, right? So
hmm
before I even get into it, I want to speak about the name change or the name for social media, Olanike. It says here, I know your birth name is Vanessa White. So how
Yeah.
did that name kind of come about?
That name came about because about a year and a half ago, I was in a sister circle in Tallahassee, Florida, and a sister circle is just a group of women that meet up, once a week to practice self-love. We were using Queen Afua's book, The Sacred Woman. In her book, she talks about self-love, affirmations, the womb space, and really just kind of being aware. So we were all kind of in that headspace. And at that same time, we were all looking or dabbling in African spirituality. So there's an African spirituality practice called Ifa coming from Nigeria, from the Yoruba people. And there's actually an African village in the States. It's the first and only African village in the States, in South Carolina. It's called Oyatunji. And you can actually go there for an African naming ceremony, for head cleanings, and to also see and learn more about Ifa. And so me and my friends took a trip. It was my idea. I was like, I want to, do an African naming ceremony. And so we took a trip to South Carolina, rented out a house, stayed for the weekend, and we did the ceremony. And it was very beautiful. It was very spiritual, and it was very divine. And so while I was getting my name changed, there's a Babalawa, and basically he's known as a priest. And basically he will divine on your name. He will select your name from a book, but he's going to divine on it to see if it's the right name. And so when he was coming up with my name, the name that came about was OlanikeOsi. Olanike means this child, our precious wealth and riches should be pampered. And Osibowale means the chief has returned. And so from that experience, I've had other experiences after that has shown me that that is my African given name, that name is very divine for me. And so on social media, instead of saying my birth name, which is Vanessa White, I love my birth name. I have no problem with my birth name, but I do know in the world, people will know me as Olanike, and I love what it means. And so that's the name I decided to use on social media. So OlanikeOsi, Olanike.
Nice. First thing that stuck out was Tallahassee, Florida. So I'm actually from Florida, well, partially. So I went to USF, but I'm familiar with Tallahassee because I know you, FSU and FAM was there. Were you there for school, or you just happened to end up in Tallahassee?
Yeah, I was there for school. So I grew up in Sunrise, Florida, Fort Lauderdale area. And
Okay.
then I really wanted to get away, but still be in the same state. And so Tallahassee was the option. I got into Florida State University through a program called the CARE program. And
Wow.
then for grad school, I went to FAMU and studied community psychology. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. It's fun. It's really amazing how close everyone is. So I actually grew up in like Pembroke Pines area, so not too far from Sunrise,
Oh, yeah.
Broward County. So I'm
Not
familiar
that
with Sunrise.
far.
Exactly. And my sister actually went through the CARE program as well, and then ended up becoming,
Really?
yes. So she graduated. I graduated she graduated in 2014.
Really? I graduated in 2014. What's your sister's name?
Dominique
I gotta know her last name.
Ducil. Dominique Ducil.
I know her. She was a care coach, wasn't she?
She was.
Yeah, I think we did the same care. Like after the care program, I became like a care mentor for new incoming care students. So yeah, I know who she is. That's dope.
Small
That is
world.
so funny.
Yeah. It's funny because I was like, nobody just randomly goes to Tallahassee, right? Unless you're from Tallahassee, you got to be to school, right? And because I was in Florida, I was
Yes.
familiar. Small world. It's amazing how that
Wow.
happens. So I picked up on that quick. So that's great. That's amazing.
Yes.
Kind of threw me off. I was like, the care, like I'm familiar with this. Like I know this. So
Mhm.
so that's good. So now that you went through that, you went to South Carolina, you have your birth, you got your African name.
Mhm.
Well, first of all, you have two amazing companies, and I'll tackle the first one, which is Selfish Babes first. But when did that come about?
Okay, so Selfish Babe is my second company, and it came after
Second.
my first company, Goddess Detox.
Okay.
Selfish Babe came about because with Goddess Detox, I was selling a self-love inspired product, and I was also doing a lot of Instagram lives every Thursday, and I would talk about the stuff that I was learning through like Queen of Fool's book, Sacred Woman, and just my life journey, and just me diving more into the power of the subconscious mind and personal development and changing your mindset and self-love. That was always the core, was self-love. And so through Goddess Detox, something that came up to me was that you can have a self-love product, and you can use it, but that doesn't mean you really know how to love yourself. That doesn't really mean that you're doing the actions to love yourself. I mean, we can call it self-care, yeah, but do you at your core feel like you're loving yourself? And so I was taking a lot of different personal development courses online, and they all had different logins. And to be honest, after a while I was like, dang, I wish all this whole personal development, self-love stuff was all in one spot. And I wish I had the same login. I don't want to have to freaking remember my login for 5 different things and have to go on my laptop. I was like, you mean these are just barriers to me getting my shit done? Honestly, that's what it is. And so, and I was honest with myself about that. And so with Selfish Babe, I was like, I want something that women can go to, that they don't really have to log in like that. It's a one-stop shop for self-love, and it's on their phone, because we always have our phone 24 hours of the day basically. And so I came up with Selfish Babe, and I call it like a personal development lifestyle brand that teaches women how to selfishly and authentically love themselves. Because for me, as being a woman and also just seeing other women, you know, we give a lot in life. We give a lot to other people, and I feel like we don't give enough to ourselves. And I felt like if we were a little bit more selfish with ourselves and our time and our energy and doing what we actually want to do, then a lot more women would be happier. And because a lot more women are happier, everybody else is happier. You know what I'm trying to say? And also women knowing their worth and knowing when to leave sucky ass relationships and different things like that. And so affirmations has always been a core of both of my businesses. And so when I was like, I want to come up with this app that gives out a daily affirmation. And when I say a daily affirmation, a daily real affirmation. One thing for me about Selfish Babe is like, I don't want it to be this like boring, outdated idea of self-love and personal development. Sometimes I think that with our older spiritual leaders, they gave a lot of great information, but I kind of want to make it relatable to millennials. And so sometimes in my affirmations, I will have a curse word, or I will use slang, because for me, that's relatable. It makes it more fun, and it makes it more real, because it's not like, oh, this love and light, peace and light all the time. That's not what really self-love is. It's both. You know, it's like you can be a spiritual person, but love to twerk on a Saturday night. And that don't mean that you're not loving yourself. You know what I'm trying to say? People like to like put people in boxes after a while. Like, you be the spiritual person, but you can't curse. That doesn't make any sense to me. You're a whole human being. You have different facets of yourself. And so that's kind of how like Selfish Babe started, was that I just really wanted women to really begin the concept of loving themselves. What does that mean? What actions am I doing? What am I saying to myself every day? And so when I released the app in April, and I didn't really think the notifications were going to be a big thing. That was just kind of part of it. It wasn't the main aspect of it. And so when people were emailing me or DMing me, they were like, yeah, I really love the affirmations. It's helped me leave like this bad relationship, or it's helped with my self-worth and different things like that. And I was like, wow, this is really good, because even if people don't really open the app that much, when they see that notification, they're seeing it. And then it's also being seen in their subconscious mind. So you're seeing something positive every single day, even if you're not really like super into it, you just kind of see it, right? And then when you're reading it to yourself, I write it as an affirmation. So there's a lot of I ams or I in there. So you're reading it to yourself, saying this to yourself. And also some people have told me that it's literally the only positive thing they see all day. And I never think about that, because I saturate myself with a lot of positivity, whether it's my Instagram feed or just the people that I'm around. I'm just very aware of my energy. And so when other people tell me, oh, wow, this is literally like the only positive thing I see all day, I'm like, wow, I just kind of forgot about that. I forgot that it could literally be the only positive thing you see all day. And so that's pretty much how it came about. And I just started adding more content, like, you know, the blog articles, having the podcast, like what other things apart from these affirmations can be added to the app. And then now, you know, up and coming our self-love hub, which is basically going to be where women can learn from different other self-love teachers on different topics, different aspects on how to love themselves. Because what I say for myself, I can talk all day, I can like teach and what I know all day, but I'm not the only teacher. I don't want anybody to ever look at me as the only person on self-love. There's so many other wonderful women and men that are speaking about self-love, and I don't want to be the only one talking. Like, I want everybody to have access to a lot of different people, because I had access to a lot of different people, and that has helped me on my self-love journey. It's not just one person's perspective. There's so many different perspectives. So that's pretty much how it started.
So where did like the I guess idea or the push to promote self-love come from? Did you have a personal journey that affected you and you realized you needed self-love, or like where did that come about?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I really started to be aware of me loving myself until like consciously, until my first year of grad school, because in my first year of grad school, that's when I joined the sister circle and we all decided to use Queen Afua's book, Sacred Woman. And during her book, it's like a process, like you read it, but you do things. And so we were all doing the same things through this book. And from that, that's when I became more aware of like my language, more aware of like crystals, more aware of like essential oils, and just different ways, meditation, different ways to kind of focus more on me. And, you know, when I began to realize that, and I looked back on my life growing up, you know, I know that I didn't love myself. I didn't respect myself. When I was younger, I was sleeping around a lot. I looked for a lot of male attention. My father died when I was like a baby, so didn't know him. And so for me, growing up, I was seeking male attention in different ways, you know, and so I didn't love myself. And even in my last relationship, because I was married at one point, I got married at 19, got divorced at 23. And at one point before I left that relationship, I asked myself, you know, if I had a daughter, would I want her to be in this relationship? And my answer was no. And I think that was a wonderful answer for me. But at the same time, I didn't say, well, Vanessa, you're in this relationship. Do you think you should be in this relationship? Like, I didn't put myself in that. I asked it outside of myself. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, why did I say, if I had a daughter, would y'all want her to be in a relationship, instead of, hey, Vanessa, you're in this relationship. What do you think about it? You probably shouldn't be in this relationship, you know? And so it's just kind of looking back on the different experiences that I've had in my life that I know that I didn't love myself. And so now, the first year of grad school, 18, I was like, yeah, I was, 22, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. I was 23. And so, yeah, I just really, I just knew that I didn't love myself at all. And the first year of grad school is when I really started my first business as well, which was Goddess Detox. And so it was something that I was diving deeper into. And because I was diving deeper into it, I wanted to share my perspective with everybody else.
So the shift happened for you after you read that book and you joined that sister circle, as far as the self-love.
Yeah, consciously, yeah.
Consciously. Okay, excellent. So you spoke about, well, let me stay on Selfish Babe a little bit, and then I'll switch over to Goddess Detox since that was your first business. But Selfish Babe, I'm not sure when you started it exactly, but you now have over 100,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
You released the app in April. How were you able to grow that to where it is now?
Yeah, I believe that I started Selfish Babe. So I started Selfish Babe last summer. Not the summer that just passed, but last summer.
So a little bit over a year old.
Yeah, and It was a website. And then through the website, I had a Facebook group. And then I was selling t-shirts with like self-love stuff on it. And I would go on my Facebook group and I just have different discussions on self-love stuff. And then eventually I was selling the t-shirts, and then that's when the app idea came. And so in April that just passed, that's when I released the app. Now, I believe it was me releasing the app that really helped to grow Selfish Babe. Because yeah, you can have a website. Yeah, you can have the Facebook group. I can funnel people from my personal Instagram over to Selfish Babe. but it was like when people have this app and it does something like have a notification a day or it has all these things in it, it makes it more tangible for people. It's a more tangible product rather than I'm just going to be in this Facebook group or I'm just going to do this. It's an app. It's a tangible product. And so I'm really good with social media marketing in terms of growth. So from my first business, I learned about social media marketing and using social influencers, like social media influencers, in order to grow a business. And so that's what I did, honestly, to grow it. I think it grew faster because people can put the affirmations in their Instagram stories and tag us, or they can put, screenshot a post and tag us. And therefore, because they're sharing it on social media, more people are going to follow the page. But social media marketing, I love Instagram for this. I love Instagram because literally you can sit back and build your platform as well as build a business, a sustainable business through social media. And I love that because I feel like back in the day, it wasn't as quote unquote easy for people to do that, but now it is. We have so much access. So I always tell people, use your technology for like your benefit. And so that's really how I was able to grow it through the app. But honestly, to grow the app is through social media marketing. So different people on Instagram pages would promote my app, and these are paid, paid. You can do paid advertisements with people, pay them a certain fee. They have a big page that may have 100,000 people or 50,000 people or even 3,000 people, depending on your budget. And then they post it and they post a video or they do an IG swipe up. And then people are now funneling from that person's Instagram to your Instagram. And so, yeah, it was yesterday that we just hit 100K. So thank you.
Nice. Congratulations. No, that's awesome. And, I always say content is always king. And when you share really good content, at some point it'll start to grow and start to become effective. So excellent. Like I said, it was, people that told me about you, and as I was going through it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. So let's kind of dive into your actual first business, but the second one that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Goddess Detox. I had a chance to take a look at it, and it's definitely a female. Kind of explain to me about it. I think it's kind of sounds kind of weird with me talking about it because that's what the kind of product it is. But how did you what is Goddess Detox for the people?
Mm-hmm.
And you said it was your first year in grad school. How did that kind of come about?
Yeah, so Goddess Detox is a company that sells self-love inspired products to women. Primarily, we sell herbal vaginal products to women. So right now we sell our Goddess Vaginal Detox Pearls, which is an all-natural vaginal suppository. And we also sell our Queen Steam and Queen's Throne, which is basically a vaginal steam and seat combo that you can do in the privacy of your own home instead of having to go to a spa or having to go somewhere else. And so, again, first year in grad school, sister circle, Queen Afua. Queen Afua is known about womb space, about uterus space, about the vagina. She talks about it. If you look up Queen Afua, that's what you're going to get. And so I'm learning all this stuff. And so at one point in grad school, I was studying I was doing my thesis on the psychology of skin bleaching. I have a Jamaican background, and so skin bleaching was just very popular in Jamaican culture, and so I was really interested in that. Mm-hmm. I still love me some Vibes Cartel, though. I will say that.
I'm hoping he gets out of jail soon, but I don't know. It's been a while, so we'll see.
I'm affirming he gets out of jail soon, but I love his music. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But and so I was studying that. And there was a trip to Tanzania, which is on the eastern part of Africa, to go and study the psychology of skin bleaching. There's this professor at Georgia State University, Dr. Kelly Lewis, who studies the psychology of skin bleaching. And I was like, I want to go on this trip. And so I was raising money to go on this trip. And to raise money, wait, you can hear me. You can hear me, right?
Yeah,
no
problem. My bad. Yeah, my head out. Go ahead.
No problem. To raise money, I originally started a company called Goddess and Godlike Creations. And that was my first ever company. That company was for men and women. And I sold scented shea butters and t-shirts with different sayings on it. And really, that's how I started Goddess Detox. Because first it was Goddess and Godlike Creations to raise money for this Tanzania trip. That's how I even started the business. And then I was introduced to this herbal vaginal suppository that was made of all natural herbs, and I used it myself, And I saw my results and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. Other women should know about this. And so from that, I began selling it and I saw the results that other women were having. Again, I'm still learning about womb work. So then at one point I was just like, I think my business should be more woman focused. It shouldn't be men and women. I'm getting a lot more woman clientele anyway, and I want to make it just more woman oriented. I feel like one of my purposes in life is to work with women, really. And so I shifted everything. It wasn't called Goddess and Godlike Creations anymore. I changed it to Goddess Detox. And I said detox because we sell self-love inspired products to physically, spiritually, and emotionally detox. That's what it is. And so when I came about the Goddess Vaginal Detox Pearls and I named them the Goddess Vaginal Detox Pearls, for me, it was more than just a physical experience. When we're talking about holistic health and holistic care, we're talking about mind, body, spirit, and soul. Like we're talking about all of that, all three of those. And so for me, I understand herbs, I understand energy, I understand the power of my word. I understand that everything is vibrating on a particular type of energy. And so with the Goddess Vaginal Detox Pearls, I implemented affirmations. I implemented women understanding their womb and understanding creation is there and understanding how divine it is to have a vagina, really. And so with the Goddess Vaginal Detox Pearls, you have this pearl. I'm just going to show because I have it here. You have this pearl and it's made of all natural herbs, right? So then if I'm saying use the power of your words to set an intention and you speak these words into your Goddess Vaginal Detox Pearl, for example, if you're like, I want to detox my ex, I talk a lot about this. You want to detox your ex because, hey, you're sleeping around with different people or this one person, you want to get their energy out of your womb space, okay? So you want to speak the intention of removing your ex's energy from your womb space. You say that over the pearl and then you insert it into your vagina. So not only did you use the energy from the power of your words, you're also using the energy that's resonating with each herb in our Goddess Vaginal Detox Pearls. You insert it into your vagina. Now you have the energy of your womb space vibrating. So all of that is all in vibrational energy. Now I've had women that have told me they have had dreams of their exes packing up their shit and leaving the house. Okay. So for me, that is the spiritual experience. That is the tapping into the unseen world, because a lot of the things that we see in our physical reality is already manifesting in the unseen world. And so when women tell me that they are having dreams about their exes or certain things involving that because they set this intention, that for me shows them being aware. That for me shows them walking in divine alignment, because it's like they are aware now of the power of their words. They are aware of the power of energy, of that energy exists, that there's something going on in the unseen world before it hits in the physical reality. And so that was really what Goddess Detox is, man. It's really it's focused on womb space right now. We will have other products that are not focused on womb and the vagina, but it will always be products that are meant to physically, spiritually, and emotionally detox. I feel like if a lot more women did this type of cleansing, a lot more women are going to be happy, because you hold on to a lot of shit. I think a lot of women do, and that we need to have something to release that. And so the Goddess Vaginal Detox Pearls does that, as well as our Queen Steam for our vaginal steam. It does the same thing. It's starting with the womb, because I do believe that with self-love, women should be starting with their vaginas. They should be reconnecting with their vagina. I have a book called The Power of Looking at Your Yoni, and The Power of Looking at Your Yoni is about women reconnecting with their vagina, speaking affirmations into the vagina, and just kind of like acknowledging that part of themselves instead of ignoring it every day. So that's pretty much how Goddess Detox got started.
Nice. So how long did it take you, out of curiosity, how long did it take you to write the book? So I'm in the process of, writing mine. I'm actually in kind of the wrap-up phase now. So, and I know the journey of writing the book for me has been, up and down experience, right? I think that's the best way to describe, like, I could be on it for like 2 weeks and then I'm like, I don't feel like looking at this. Like, what was your journey like writing that book?
It was easy. I'm going to tell you why it was easy. Canva. I don't know if you heard of Canva, but I use Canva. And it's something that you can use to make graphics and different things like that. I know that when I had my first book, I didn't want it to be super lengthy, like this book, for example, like an everyday lengthy book. One day I will write something like this, but this is not what I wanted. I wanted a book that was pretty. I wanted a book with lots of visuals, and the words are there, but it's colorful. When people opened it, it was colorful. And I didn't want it to be super long. I wanted to get to the message, to the main point. And so basically I used Canva as if like I'm doing graphics and I'm writing like a little PowerPoint. And then I just had somebody, a graphic designer, Upwork. If you're not using Upwork for freelance people, Upwork, I had her. She does ebooks. I had her do her designs. I had all the information. She put everything in. And then after that, it's like, okay, it's a pretty ebook, but it doesn't have to be an ebook. You can literally print this. And so then I found a publishing company that I could print it from. And then that was it. And then I looked up how to get the barcode. Like a lot of stuff for me, a lot of my stuff with businesses and writing books, it's self-research. I Google a lot of shit. I YouTube a lot of shit to do it on my own, or I find out who else can do it for me. And so another advantage of using technology to your benefit. So for me, it was easy because it wasn't a lot of information. It's kind of the same stuff I've been saying. Now, when it comes to writing a book that may be a little bit more lengthy like this, or that I have a lot more things to say in it, I do agree. It will be an up and down journey. Some days you will be on it for 2 weeks, and some days you're not going to be on it for another week and a half. And I think that's with anything, honestly, because I have projects that I'm working on that I'm like, okay, I'm like, even with building Selfish Babe, I'm working on this. I could take a whole 3 or 4 weeks to read somebody's blog post that they submitted for Selfish Babe that I know I have to put up, that I'm going to have to put up. But I could have did that 3 weeks ago, but I didn't really feel like doing it right then. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think different things are going to grab your attention, but as long as you keep the perspective of this is going to be released, I'm going to finish this, and you actually work towards that, even if it's not every day, I think it's fine. And so I'm happy that you're writing a book, and I'm happy that, you're in the process of finalizing that. And I think that's amazing. Like everybody should write a book at some point in their life. So the fact that you have this podcast, you're writing a book, I see good things for you. So I'm glad that you're doing that.
I definitely appreciate it. What kind of doors has Selfish Babe or Goddess Detox opened up for you? Now that you have such a big platform with 2 different IG pages, obviously, tons of DMs and emails. What kind of doors has that opened up for you?
All right, so let me tell you a story. So with Goddess Detox, people were so like negative about it, negative about the Goddess Vaginal Detox Pearls. What is this? Blah, blah, blah. You don't need to detox your eggs. You don't need to have anything in your vagina, blah, blah, blah. When in reality, in indigenous cultures and indigenous practice that women have practiced, we did use herbs in our vaginas. It's actually a fact. It's not made up. It's actually a fact. And we actually used herbs to steam our vaginas. So that was like a whole negative thing. But now it's becoming a lot more positive. A lot more people are, because we've been around for 3 years, Goddess Detox, it's like, oh, wow, I've heard about this. We've gained more credibility, and so it's not more positive. I will say this, though. I will get people, different IG pages that I do advertise with, people will not advertise my Goddess Vaginal Detox Pearls. I came up with the vaginal steam. People are more likely to advertise the vaginal steam than they are to advertise the Goddess Vaginal Detox Pearls. Now, in terms of what doors have opened, I think with Selfish Babe, because it has nothing to do with the vagina, I'm going to be real, because it has nothing to do with the fucking vagina, people are more likely to post it. They want to spread the word. With my podcast on Selfish Babe, I've been able to interview some different people on Instagram that are like self-love influencers. And because I'm also going to be having these people teach on the app, it has opened doors in terms of just growing a circle of self-love influencers. It's honestly what it is, because it's like I have this platform called Selfish Babe, and it's growing. And I'm gonna be real with you. And this may sound petty as fuck, but I don't mean to sound petty as fuck. It's just like, when you start something, right, and it's small, it's not a lot of people, right? Let's say we got like 5,000 people on the app and just not a lot of people on. You start something, people may not really want to work with you like that, right? But then they see it growing. Now we're at 87,000 women that have the app. They see that we're 100K now, 100K on Instagram. I may have emailed you 2 or 3 months ago to teach on this app. Willing to pay. And now I haven't heard back from you. Okay. Let's see from a year from now. I'm pretty sure you're going to want to teach on this app to grow your following. I'm just saying, like, people, it's funny. It's like, people don't want to, because I know myself, though, and I know when I do shit, I do it right. And I know when I do stuff, it's going to blow up. It's like some people not going to want to work with you because you're small right now. And I get that. But if I see somebody that is growing and I see like their tenacity, I'm willing to work with that. But I've noticed that with Selfish Babe, it's like, in the beginning, even when I was advertising, I may not get as many followers as I did now. Why is that? Because let's say my page was like at 2,000 and I was advertising it, and I may get maybe 100 to 500 followers from an advertisement. But now that Selfish Babe is at 100K, people look at the page like, oh, I got to follow it. It's a big page. It's more credibility. People feel more like, dang, I'm missing out on something because it's so many followers. How could I not follow this page? Compared to when the page was at 2,000, you may not even really want to follow it because they didn't have a lot of followers. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And so I just say that Selfish Babe has opened up, for me, a larger audience. It continues to open up a larger audience, a global reach. Okay, we have women from all over the world that have this app. I have women in India that tell me, or when I see people's phones and they're in different languages and they screenshot the affirmation and it's in a different language, that makes my heart so happy, because it's like, wow, we really are an international global brand, which is what I wanted Selfish Babe to be. I wanted Selfish Babe to have global reach, because everybody has their phone. It's global. It's a free app to download. Why not? You know what I'm trying to say? So that's what I'll say right now. And also, it's going to continue to open doors in terms of maybe some self-love influencers that probably wouldn't have talked to me 5 months ago may be willing to talk to me now. You know what I'm trying to say? Because the platform is so big, they see the worth and the value of it and how it can help their brand as well. So that's what I'll say for now.
Are you a one-man band? Like, is it just you running two iconic, or soon to be iconic brands by yourself?
No, it's not. I have a partner. I have a business partner. And so my business partner answers the emails, answers the DMs for Goddess Detox. I have an intern that works on the affirmations and the selfish truths that go out in the app. And I also use a lot of freelance work. And so I can find freelance worker from Fiverr or Upwork.com. I prefer Upwork. I think it's a lot better. But Upwork.com, where maybe I need a graphic designer, maybe I need a video editor, because I have a video editor that I use for a lot of my videos. And now I'm just now building a team of blog writers. I just solidified my team of blog writers that get paid to write the blog. So I have 4 women. And first, they didn't get paid. I just wanted to see like how they wrote. And I had to see, what did I want for my blogs? Again, it has to be relatable. It has to have a homegirl feel. If the writing don't got no curse words and no gifs in it, I don't want it. You know what I'm trying to say? I want it to be very relatable. And so for me, curse words are just flavorful language. And yeah, it's not by myself. I'm literally in the process of building a team. And for me, a best team is a satellite team. I don't want to have to go to an office and sit out at a desk. I mean, I have an office in my house, but I don't want to go to another office and sit at my desk and have to look at people's faces. And I don't say that to be rude. I just like my space and I like my energy. But if I can tell you how to do something over the phone or online, and you know how to do it, and you're still delivering, a satellite team is the best. So it's not by myself. I can never do all that I do by myself. I feel like what I'm learning more in terms of having an impact on the world, it's going to take a great team. And you're going to have to have people that believe in like the same thing that you believe in, or see the vision, and see the purpose in it. And so I always tell people, whenever they have their brands or their businesses, what's like, I may be selling this product, but what's the actual purpose of my overall brand? What's the impact? It's not just this product, or it's not just the app. If you have an impact, the people are going to come. You know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, it's not a one person thing, because I could never do that by myself. I'd be totally stressed out. And I was stressed out for a while when I was growing Goddess Detox and orders were coming in and I was by myself shipping stuff and I was like, what the hell? Like you can literally
Lose your
go
mind.
crazy.
Yeah, I
So
can
yeah.
imagine. Did you ever expect both companies to be as big as they currently are and growing? Was like when you first launched both of
Yeah.
these, whether it be Selfish Babe or Goddess Detox being the first, obviously. Did
Yeah.
you see it being as big as it is today?
I think when I first started Goddess Detox, I didn't think it was going to be that big. I mean, not that I was like, oh, this is nothing and nobody's going to like buy anything. I didn't think that. It was just I didn't think, oh, this is going to be a big brand. I just didn't think that either.
Mm-hmm.
But then after I learned social media marketing and I learned how to advertise, I said, oh, okay. And I just kept running with that because I've tried other forms of advertising. I've tried Facebook ads. I've tried little Instagram ads, but I think the best ads I've ever done was literally working with a bigger Instagram page and having them repost my stuff. Like that has literally been the best strategy for me. And so after I learned that, I was like, I can make this big. And then with Selfish Babe, I already knew that was going to be big. And the reason I already knew that is because my ancestors told me directly, because I work a lot with my ancestors, because I do African spirituality, and ancestor veneration is just a big part of that, which is just honoring your ancestors. And so my ancestors told me to do the app. They told me, do the app. And at that time, I didn't know how I was going to do this app. I contacted app people. They wanted thousands of dollars, and but somehow something came through where I could do an app. And so I got the app, and I already knew. I said, I want Selfish Babe to be a global brand. I want women all over the world. So now I'm already steeped in my personal development. I'm already steeped in the power of manifestation. I'm already steeped with understanding that I can create my damn reality. And so by Selfish Babe, I was like, hell yeah, this is going to be fucking big. It's going to be huge. I know how freaking huge it's going to be. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's not to be arrogant. I just know what it is. And I know my energy, and I know what I want. And I know what the universe wants. And I know it's purely divine. If my ancestors said to do it, I already know how fucking big it's going to be. So that's my...
Do you think that, and that it's funny you said, not really funny you said that, but you know, like I have like a book club that I do once a week. Today's actually the day I'm doing it later. You know, I speak at different events, do different things. And I think because I'm expected to have a certain level of personal development, it kind of forces me to continue to do that. Do you think Selfish Babe really like drives that to where, you know, you have to continue to get better. You have to continuously, you know, personally develop. You have to do that. Is that almost like a guiding like force for you to continue to do it?
Continue to do what?
As far as getting better on it. So for me, like I started this book club. I started my book club because I wanted to hold myself accountable to make sure I'm reading at least one book at minimum a month. So I have a call every single week, and in order for me to, you know, lead and host this call, I have to make sure I'm reading, right? So that kind of forced me. So on the days where I don't do it, I don't feel like doing it, I'm like, I need to get it together because I'm getting ready to host a call on this and this chapter and I need to read it, right? So that's what I created that book club because I want to hold myself accountable, right? It wasn't really, it's great for other people, yes, and you know, you build community, but it was almost like a selfish thing why I did it.
Yes, and that's perfect.
Selfish Babe, I got it.
Yeah, that is perfect. I think that's amazing that you did that because it's great to have it with community, but now you're actually holding yourself accountable because you know that you're leading this. So I think that's wonderful. Now, do I feel like I have to constantly be on it? I'm gonna say yes and no. And the reason I say this is because when I was first really diving into like into personal development leaders, for example, like maybe a Lewis House or a Lewis Hayes, or there's one woman I love, Florence Shin. She's like this old spiritual leader, but her work is so amazing on affirmations and the power of your word. Florence Shin, and there's other people. I was like super like, dang, I gotta listen to my Audible. I would listen to a lot of Audible books. I would read some books. I would sign up for different courses and I would learn a lot from their perspective. And then there became a point where I was like, I need to like figure this out for myself in terms of like, it's great to hear other people's opinions on things and their works. And I've learned a lot from them. I've learned a lot from what I've I've read, but it became a point where I was like, I have to go within to figure this out, because even though it has a lot to do with spirituality and a law of attraction and stuff, there's still this huge self-love component. And I think with self-love, a lot of it is personal experience. And I talk a lot about personal experiences because that's where you decide, am I going to love myself today, or am I not going to love myself today? You know, you go through these different personal experiences. And so I say, the reason I say no, because I don't feel like I have to constantly be reading a book or constantly listening to Audible or any of that. I took a break from that, honestly. I'm reading the Florence Shin book now off and on, but I'm not like pressuring myself about it. Because I have a lot of personal experience. I've moved to Atlanta about 1.5 years ago. And one of my big things since being here is working on building my sister circle, building my friends here, building a community of women that I believe I can go to. And so at one point I thought I was here to make friends, but then a message from Spirit told me, no, you're not here to make friends, Vanessa. You're here to gain sisters. And so my level of friendship that I am working on here is on a whole deeper level than I think everybody's used to. I think a lot of people have very shallow friendships, and they are not to a depth at all. And it's pretty interesting. And so me working on building my sister circle here, building my friendships here, has really been it's been a whole self-love thing. I've been frustrated. I thought I was crazy for wanting deeper relationships. I thought nobody wanted deeper relationships. And I was like, oh no, people actually do want deeper relationships, Vanessa. You just kind of got to show them how that looks, because they don't know how that looks like. And so then it became, well, Vanessa, I am really authentically expressing myself as who I am as a person. And I think sometimes people think that when they express themselves as who they really are, they think I'm crazy, or they think nobody's going to accept me for this, right? And so for me, the more that I have been being me and being myself, even when I think nobody else has ever done this or it looks crazy, that's me choosing myself. That's me showing self-love. And through my experiences, that's when I can write my selfish affirmations, which is the Selfish Babe affirmations. That's when I can write my selfish truths. That's when I can blog about it on my personal Instagram at OlanikeeOsi, where I talk about different self-love experiences. I may run a bath with lots of herbs in it because I know the spiritual properties of the herbs. I'm going to speak my affirmations into my bath. Then I'm going to get into my bath, and then I'm going to journal, and I'm going to see what Spirit has to tell me. And that's an all internal work. That's not me reading a book. That's not me listening to a podcast. That's not me listening to Audible. That's just me with myself and source, the creator universe, my ancestors. That's me working with Spirit. Like, that's just what it is. And so I don't feel like I have to always be on it, but I'll say, yes, I have to always choose myself. And if I don't choose myself, I'll learn a lesson too. And it's still content. It's content to give, and it's relatable content. So that's what I'll say.
Why Atlanta out of all the cities?
So I got a tarot card reading. Again, I said I'm a very spiritual person. A tarot card reading is when somebody is very in tune with spirit, and they use different cards that have spiritual messages to pull. And based on the spread that they pull, they all tell a story. And so one day I got a tarot card reading from my good friend, sister elder named Kat. And I asked, I was ready to leave Tallahassee. I was in Tallahassee for 7.5 years. I was ready to go. But I know I didn't want to go back to South Florida. I wanted to go somewhere different. And so I asked, should I move to New York? Should I move to California, or should I move to Atlanta? And so she divined in all 3 locations. Atlanta was the most supported by my ancestors. My ancestors said, yes, Atlanta's the place. And my boyfriend, he actually went to Clark Atlanta University. So he knew a little bit about Atlanta as well. And so we're both moving from Tallahassee to Atlanta. I said yes. And some people may think that's crazy. Damn, you divine a way you should move, and then you decide, and then they said yes on this and you moved. I mean, I think that's walking in faith. That's the walking in belief. Like, why, if I know that I don't want to be in Tallahassee anymore, why would I, torture myself and stay in Tallahassee for 2 years because I'm not sure where I'm going? I'd rather go to somebody that can divine for me, or ask Spirit myself for more clarity, have 3 choices that I want to go, and then one that is supported, go there. And so that's what I did. That's why I'm in Atlanta, and I'm very happy to be in Atlanta. I love Atlanta. It still gives the city vibes. I hate that there's not a beach like there is in Fort Lauderdale. That's the only thing. But I do love Atlanta, and I'm glad to be here. It's been a really good experience.
Nice. I actually just interviewed a couple of days ago a friend of mine that's she's actually an astrologer, right? So she does the tarot card readings and all of that. And I asked her, and I'm going to ask you what you think about this. How does I guess astrology and I guess the reading of the cards play into I guess religion, right? So what I specifically asked her is, growing up, because she's also has a Caribbean background. She's Haitian, and I said, growing up, at least for me, and I'm also of a Caribbean background, I'm Jamaican. When you look at that, when you think of, card readings and, all of that, you think of, the negative, devil, just things of that nature. So how does, you playing into that, are you really, I guess believing in the spirits and, tarot card readings and stuff like that, I guess play into religion for you, and at least what your parents or your immediate family thought?
Yeah, so growing up, I grew up in a Christian household, Jamaican. I'm not Christian. I think for me, actually, I know for me, Christianity just never really resonated with me at all. I always questioned it. At one point, I was agnostic. At one point, I was atheist. At one point, I would go to my friends' churches and stuff. My friend is Haitian, and she would go to a seven-day Adventist church, and I, learn about all that. And even during college, it still just never resonated with me. When I went to grad school at FAMU, and they have a course called Black Psychology. Really, it's a master's in community psychology, but it's really Black psychology. And for me, with Black psychology, I learned about the ancestors. I learned about what were our ancestors doing before Christianity, because that's what I always wanted to know that. And so when I learned about things like Santeria, things like Haitian Voodoo, things like Ifa, which is all different African spirituality paths, I learned that a lot of our ancestors hid what they did under Christianity and Catholicism. So when you look at Catholicism, it's Catholicism and Santeria, basically the same thing. People that practice Santeria were showing that they were practicing Catholicism, but they were really practicing Santeria. And so when I learned all of that, it resonated with me more and it made sense. So what I tell people is that I think you should explore your spirituality and your religion and go with what resonates with you the most. I think that your heart knows what it wants. And so if something's resonating with you, then you F heavy with that. If something's not resonating with you, then don't F with it. I just knew that Christianity wasn't my thing. I told my mom I'm not Christian. I told my mom I practice Ifa. I told my mom that I get tarot card readings. She doesn't really support that, but at least she knows. I just don't want to be out here hiding shit, because I could tell the world, I could tell a whole bunch of strangers my whole entire life. And I just want my mom to know me as who I am in this world. And so, she doesn't really super support it. She's Christian, and that's cool. That's what resonates with her. It just doesn't resonate with me. But there's similarities. There's still a creator. I may not say God. I may say creator, because I may not think that God is a man. My personal belief. And so, I don't know if I answered your question. Was there one more thing? Oh, astrology. Okay. So when it comes to like astrology and tarot card readings, for me, that all is coming from spirit. That's all coming from the universe. And so I love astrology because it really focuses on the energy of, like, for example, if you got your natal chart done. If you haven't gotten your natal chart done, get your natal chart done by an astrologer. But basically, it just shows where the planets were at the time that you were born and the energy around you. So when people talk about their different signs, like, oh, I'm an Aquarius or I'm a Leo, it kind of describes a little bit about your personality. With your natal chart, you can learn about your personality. You can learn about the negative traits you have from back in the day to where you're going now in your future. What are the positive traits of what sign that you're going towards in your future? For example, my North Node, this may sound very people don't know what this is, but Google it. North Node is in Capricorn. My South Node is in Cancer. And so if I know, so that means the South Node is like your roots. And so the negative aspects of stuff about you growing up, the Cancer negative aspects. Now, in order for me to move forward in my purpose and in my life and to grow and to have success, I'm going to be learning the positive traits of a Capricorn, because that's where I'm going, my North Star. That is where I'm headed. Astrology teaches that. I don't know if the Bible teaches that. You know what I'm trying to say? And so I just feel like when it comes to like religion, of course, choose what you want to do. You can still be Christian and still be into astrology. You can still be Christian and still have an ancestor altar. Why? I'm gonna tell you a fact, because a lot of older Christians, older Baptists, they were Baptists, but they all had ancestor altars honoring their ancestors. It's always been there. We always honored our ancestors. And if you look at other cultures, they're always honoring their ancestors as well. Go to like a nail shop and see a little statue in the corner with the incense and something. That's honoring their ancestors. And so I think people can dabble in whatever they want. I want people to think for themselves. Just because you're into astrology and tarot doesn't mean you can't be Christian. And just because you are Christian doesn't mean you can't do other certain things. Yeah, the stuff that we've been told on TV is really negative, but you have to do your own personal research, and you will see so much beauty in it. There is so much beauty in African spirituality. There's so much beauty in honoring the ancestors. There's so much beauty in learning about the energy of the planets. There's so much beauty in seeing the tarot card. So whatever is calling you, go for it. It's your life, literally. It's your life. I just don't want people to be boxed in.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And, you know, I was so enlightened when I interviewed her. So she gave me a lot of great insight, and, you know, I asked her the same question, and she told me like a lot of religions stemmed from, you know, energy and stuff like that. So it was good. Well, I don't want to.
Wait, what's her? Do you remember her name?
Yes, her name is Akila.
Akila, cool.
Yes, Akila. I'll definitely, you know, connect you if you want.
Is she from Tallahassee?
No, she is originally from New York. She lives in Canada now, I believe.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice.
So yeah, she's amazing. But before I let you go, I definitely want you to let people know like your different handles or where they could reach you.
I have a question for you, because I'm going to post this podcast on Selfish Babe too. My question is, from a male perspective, what do you think about Selfish Babe? Like, what do you think about the aspect of women selfishly and authentically loving themselves? Like, what is your perspective on that?
I think for so long, women have been told to suppress their voice. And I think that what Selfish Babe does is helps give women a voice where they may not necessarily have one or feel like they have one. There's still many women in relationships that they shouldn't be in. There's still many women that hold their tongue when they're supposed to say something. There's a lot of, and I'm not saying it's exclusive to women, right? Men as well, but we've been societal based. It's been, you know, shifted that, you know, women are inferior to men, whether that's on the pay scale, whether that's in relationships, whatever that looks like. So I think Selfish Babe just allows women to be more expressive and really give them an opportunity to, you know, outwardly pour out who they are. So I love that platform because it'll, you know, I'm really big, like you said, on, you know, thoughts are things and positive affirmations, journaling, things like that. I think that's extremely important. And when you're able to kind of, you know, see who you want to be and kind of internalize it, you're able to express it a lot more. And I think that's, you know, I think your platform allows women to find their voice if they don't have one, right? It gives them that opportunity to say, you know, I am great. I am amazing. You know, these things that, like you said, some people don't, like, a lot of times they don't hear, right? Yeah. So if you're able to tell it to yourself, then you're able to portray it out into the world. So my thoughts on it, to answer your question, is I think what you're doing is amazing. I think it's positive for women, and, you know, keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. See, guys, I'm just saying this for my personal podcast. See, Selfish Babe, you got to support the males too, okay? So y'all know.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of, I think that's really how the 1% mindset came about, and how I came up with it was, you know, it really stemmed from, at first, being able to read, right? Being able to consistently do something. And I'll tell you a quick story, and, you know, a lot of my audience knows it, but like I said, I created this book club so I can read. And one year, actually it was last December, really, I noticed that the people in the book club weren't reading, right? They weren't consistent. And at the time I said, you know what? Why aren't they doing it? I tried to figure out why they weren't doing it. So I calculated on the call, and I said, there's 720 hours in a month, a 30-day month. I said,
Yeah.
it may take you 6 to 7 hours to read an entire book. A lot of times it's a lot less, but I said maybe 6 to 7 hours if you're doing a bigger book. So that's less than 1% of your month I'm asking you for. Not 1% of your day, not 1% of your, less than 1% of your month. And
Yeah.
I did that, and it like struck a chord. And then maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, I was like, let me do a video. So in January 2017, January 2017, I created a video behind that, and by my standards, within like a day, I had 5,000 views, 50 plus shares on Facebook, and I was like, whoa, people were feeling this. So then I started creating videos every single month, and then at the end of last year, January 2017, 2018, I said, let me see who supports me. Let me come out with a shirt, right?
Yeah.
Kind of just selling shirts. And I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know anything. And I reverted back to that video, the 1%. So I was like, oh, the 1%. But most people think of like socioeconomic status, financial. And I was like, it's not necessarily that. There's a certain kind of mindset you have to have to, whether it's to obtain certain, not necessarily wealth, but just the mindset that you have to have as far as dedication, the different disciplines that you need. And I was like, the 1%, it's a mindset. And that's literally how that came about. And I was like, oh, okay, let me create this social media handle. Let me do this. And then that's how it came about. And when I had it for the first 6 months, I was just randomly doing things. Again, I believed in the principle, but I didn't really make it into a business. I didn't have a podcast. I didn't do any of that. And then I said, this is actually a really good brand. I think people, based on the principles, can do it. So I came out with a motivational album in June of this year. I came out with a motivational album called You Versus You, which is it's basically the battle of yourself. And that did pretty well. And then that's kind of the story of how that started. So it's still in this infant stage, but as I continue to meet people, connect with people, get great advice from people like you, I definitely know it will continue to grow, because it's a space that people lack. Like you said, people always need to find their voice. They need to build self-confidence, and they need to understand that, it takes work for anything, but as you continue to grow in your disciplines, you can create the life that you want and that you choose.
And that's literally what it is. It's about creation. And I feel like, and I really love that name, the 1% mindset, because honestly, really, it is what it is. Like, and be real, a lot of people will just continue to be followers and continue to just go through life and go through the motions. But when you sit back and you start to realize that you can't just keep going through the motions, like you literally have choices every single day, and you want to actively live your life, it's having that 1% mindset, right? And it's doing those things, and it's learning new things, and just, man, when I say it's really all mindset, man, like it really is all mindset. And so I'm glad that you're doing this work. And have you ever heard of the 20-something, the rich?
Sure. Yeah, I actually know Daniel very well. We went to college together. So yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah. You kind of remind me of him. That's what I was asking.
Oh, really? Well, I need to tell him. That means I got great things ahead of me.
Exactly. So definitely keep it up and keep doing what you're doing. And I like the reason I even agreed to this podcast is because I see your tenacity. Like, I look at what people are doing and like what they've done on their own first, because I think a lot of times people feel like, well, I can't do anything on my own, and they never start. But when I see people do things on their own first, and to see where it builds up on their own, then I'm like, okay, yeah. Like, so I agree to this podcast because I see your tenacity. I see the work that you're doing, and I see that you're actively doing it. You know what I'm trying to say? And so I'm glad that you had me on, and I'm glad that you're going to be also on the Selfish Babe podcast. So for my Selfish Babe listening, definitely check out the 1% mindset. Where can they find you? And then I'll tell them where they can find you.
Oh man, this is amazing. No, so you guys can find me at the number 1% mindset on IG or Facebook. That's the business page. My personal, my name is Michael Ducille, so you can find me at michael.ducille, Ducille. So that's where you can find me.
And then where the you versus you?
So the you versus you, that's actually on so on all streaming platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, all of them. So you can just search my name, Michael Ducil, and then it's the 1% Mindset presents You versus You.
Okay.
And you can see it there. It's 11 amazing tracks. What I love about it is with all the feedback I got, everyone had a different favorite track. And that's because depending on where you are in life, you're able to relate to something, right? I speak about many things from fear, and I'm really good at creating, using an analogy or a story to really resonate or relate to what you're going through. So that's that's where the you versus you is. It's so amazing how this shifted towards, and you do a really good job at that. That's good. So that's me promoting me.
Funny. Yeah. So for those listening to the 1% Mindset, so my name is Vanessa White, but I go by OlanikeeOsi. You can find me on Instagram at OlanikeeOsi, OlanikeeOsi. You can follow also at Selfish Babes. That's Selfish Babes with an S on Instagram. You can also go to selfishbabe.com and you can download the free Selfish Babe app in Google Play as well as the Apple App Store for free. Look up Selfish Babe and you'll see it. And you'll get daily affirmations and self-love notifications to your phone. We also have the Selfish Babe Selfish Talk podcast, and we also have our blogs and more things coming. So thank you.
Nice. You're doing amazing things. Thank you again so much. We'll definitely talk offline, but for everyone listening, just, again, follow Selfish Babes. Follow everything. She's an amazing person. I love what she's doing. She's a fellow Broward County resident as well. So, there's definitely some connection there. So thank you so much, guys. This is the 1% Mindset podcast. And, for your followers, it's also, the Selfish Babes podcast.
Selfish Babe, Selfish Talk. Bye, loves.
Take care, guys.